What's up? So, I want to know how your Thrive is going. Are you thriving today? If not, that's okay. Are you doing a little better than you were yesterday? If you're not, that's also okay. The part of this, okay, all of this is a process. It's all learning and just doing your best to be a little better than you were yesterday. So you have to forgive me. I'm very tired after today, and obviously my hair is kind of a physical representation of my day to day. Whatever, ignore it. I hope it doesn't just doesn't distract you. Just be patient with me, guys. Okay, so um, in my last video, I reached out. I kind of crowdsourced a little bit to see if anybody had any other ideas of positive self-talk, and I got a few ideas, and I'm really grateful for those of you who contributed. I'm just going to share those really quick to kind of recap. So journaling is a great way to get out of your head what's in there without having to talk about it, especially if it's really, really hard to talk about. Traumatic things, or especially if you're dealing with like situational depression, like the death of a loved one or something traumatic or something like that, where you aren't used to being um, or having those feelings, then writing it down can definitely help. Also, one thing that was also mentioned is when you keep a journal, you have the opportunity to look back and see your growth. Or I actually did that when we moved into our home now. I found a bunch of my old journals from, like, I think it was right out of high school, maybe it was in high school, I can't remember. But I was a little bit upset with myself. Like, I wanted to go back and kind of smack her because it was just pathetic. But it was real to me then. Like, my emotions, my depression, it was very real. And so I wanted to be like, no, this is not the end of the world or whatever. But anyway, it helped me see how far I've come. So journaling is a really good thing to try to do. Please don't compare yourself to others. That's another strategy that's really, really important. And I know it's really easy to do, um, especially for mothers. We see other mothers, and we think we're not as good as them or whatever. But, we all do that. But please don't do that. Just, love people, and you can aspire to be better, but don't compare. Um, Counting your blessings, or counting the things that you do have, is another strategy. It's important to, instead of dwelling on the things that you lack or the things that you wish you had, to concentrate on things that you do have, and you do have plenty to be grateful for. So reach out with that gratitude and find ways to get yourself out of that slump by finding things that you truly are grateful for. Another big one is service. Service is hard for me. It always has been. But if you can find simple ways to help people, uh, it can it can branch you out and help you um, kind of forget about yourself for a minute, and think of others. I think that's really important. So thanks again for all those who contributed. I appreciate all of these strategies. What I wanted to touch on today is something that I'm going to try to be really delicate when I mention this, and bear with me because I'll explain. Okay, oh, so I'm sorry, let me try again. When people do negative things to you, or, at you or whatever, when something negative happens to you, it is never personal. Okay, so I know you're probably all sitting there saying, Emily, excuse me, this happened to me. My sister did this, or my cousin did this, or my dad did this, or whatever. Um, okay, I get that. People can do mean, horrible, awful things to you. I understand that. And it does hurt. It is real. Emotion is real. But what we have to understand is that when somebody reacts that way or acts that way towards you, it's something in their life that they're having. Okay, most likely it's something that they're struggling with in their life, and they could be projecting it, and you could just have been, caught in the crosshairs at the time. um there have been several instances in my life where I felt like things were really personal. One in particular that keeps coming to mind. Sorry, my TV just turned on and kind of scared me. Anyway, um, if you can hear that, I'm really sorry. I don't want to have to rush out there and turn it off. Anyway, um, when let's see, my oldest was like 2 at the time, and I was at Target, I think, and I was in the bathroom, and we had finished, and I washed her hands, and when I put her down on the ground after she washed her hands, she like jumped up and hit my chin. And if you've experienced that, where like, something hits your chin and it makes your jaw like clink and everything, it just like it's jarring. And I I was like, oh, I just was so frustrated and so irritated. I was a new mom, whatever. And I walked over to get her paper towel, and I was still upset. And I was, mind you, I was still trying to be stable in my emotions and my depression and anxiety. And I grabbed a paper towel, and I kind of like ripped it out and gave it to her. And she kind of like, you know, was like kind of jerked when I did that. And there was a woman standing at the sink, and she looks at me and she said, calm down. Like not in a loving way. Like it was very hurtful to me. And I didn't even know what to say. And she's like, I have a 2-year old too, and you just need to learn how to have patience. I don't remember what she said, but it wasn't very nice. That I carried that with me for a long time. Not even joking, it still comes up where I'm like, oh, I'm overreacting, and that woman was right, and I need to just calm down. Okay, I don't know what her circumstances were. I don't know if, what happens behind her closed doors, or if, maybe her life is good and she's happy and she reacted that way towards me. But guess what? Even if she's within her faculties and she's perfectly happy and she still acted that way to me, that's also not on me. That's on her. Okay? We need to be focused on caring for one another, loving one another. That's kind of a little bit of a tangent, but what that does is it liberates you from that anger, that sadness that somebody else has put on you, that you have chosen to take upon yourself. And it is very much a choice. I know that's hard to hear, but if you can just remember that it's not personal, then you are able to put yourself in a position where you can more easily forgive that person that's done something negative towards you. Now, coming from a person who has anxiety and depression, I totally get that that is way more easier said than done. This practice of understanding that nothing's personal is something that I'm still working on. It's something that if you can perfect that level of enlightenment, you will be completely free of any kind of negative feelings towards anybody. If you've reached that level of enlightenment, go you. You deserve a gold star. I am not there yet. But I do try to remember that when somebody irritates me when I'm at work, I just try to think, you know what? They might be having a bad day today, or they may have a really rough time with, where they're working. I don't know. I try to just put myself in a position where I can forgive them a little more easily. That's where I'm trying to help you all get, is where, okay, that totally came out wrong. I have not perfected this. This is a work in progress. This is just something that I try to practice to do. Trust me, I'm not great at it, but it's just an idea, a strategy for you to use so that you're not bound by that anger and that resentment towards people that you might not even know. Um, yeah, so that's kind of where I've been led to for this segment. If you have any suggestions on, this topic, or want to start a discussion, then, I'm all for that. I think that's great. So yeah, work on your thrive and try to think outside of yourself. And I hope that you all have a great day. See you later.